Garden designers in 2026 are saying no to features they were recommending just a few years ago. Not because the ideas were bad on paper, because they have seen what happens when the excitement wears off and the maintenance bills arrive. The pergola that nobody sits under, the built-in grill that stopped being used after the first summer, the artificial lawn that turned into a heat trap nobody warned you about. These are the features experienced designers are actively steering clients away from right now. 12 of them, starting with number 12. Number 12. Large trees planted too close to the structure. This is one of the first conversations professional designers are now having at the planning stage, before a single plant goes in the ground. The appeal of a mature tree close to the house is obvious. Shade, presence, the sense that a garden has been there for years. And when the tree goes in as a sapling, it looks completely harmless. A stick with leaves, as one homeowner put it to me. But designers who work in residential gardens have seen enough to know that certain species planted too close to a structure are not a design feature. They are a delayed problem. A leyland cypress, willow, or silver maple planted 6 feet from the house can reach 100 feet tall and spread 20 feet wide in 15 years. The root system runs 3 times the height of the tree, tracking toward water sources the way a heat-seeking missile tracks heat. Foundation drains, sewer lines, and the slab itself are exactly the kind of water sources those roots find. The American Society of Home Inspectors lists tree root damage among the top 5 reasons foundations crack in the U.S. Professional tree removal costs between $800 and $3,000. Foundation repair starts at $15,000 on a good day. One Ohio couple paid $40,000 fixing a slab cracked by a single silver maple. Insurance companies are increasingly declining to cover homes with large trees too close to the structure, so the financial exposure goes well beyond the repair itself. This is why designers in 2026 are specifying columnar varieties, slow-growing species, and maintaining minimum clearance distances as non-negotiable at the planning stage. The tree is beautiful. The position matters enormously, and the species matters even more. But the next feature on this list is one that still appears on almost every mood board, and experienced designers have started pushing back hard on how most people build it. Number 11. The bare pergola. Every Pinterest board has one. Every client comes in with a pergola in mind, and good designers understand why. A pergola creates structure, defines a space, and gives a patio the feeling that someone actually thought about it, rather than just paved it over. The problem is not the pergola. The problem is the bare pergola, and that is what most people end up with. A timber frame with open slats overhead blocks around 30% of sunlight. That is it. On a summer afternoon in Texas or Florida, the temperature underneath a bare pergola can reach 130 degrees by lunchtime. The outdoor space the client invested in to use through summer becomes a space they avoid from June to September. Many designers now specify full cover as a non-negotiable element when a pergola is planned. A louved roof system with adjustable aluminum blades lets light in when the weather is good and closes completely when rain arrives. A polycarbonate or glass panel over a solid beam frame maintains the look while delivering real shelter. Both of these add cost, but they are what turns a pergola from a decorative frame into a functional outdoor room. Professionals increasingly question bare timber pergolas for another reason too. The wood needs sealing every 2 years, or it splits, warps, and turns a dull, weathered gray that no amount of oiling brings back. Metal pergolas rust at the joints. Vinyl yellows and cracks under UV exposure. None of these are maintenance conversations most clients want to be having in year 3. The Homes and Gardens editorial team named the bare pergola a top 5 backyard regret consistently across multiple recent years. Designers who have been in the field long enough have seen why. The vision is wine under soft lights. The reality is splinters, sun, and a frame that looks like it was abandoned. The next feature on the list is one where the initial wow factor is genuinely impressive, and where the long-term reality rarely matches it. Number 10. The full coverage paver patio. Paving an entire backyard looks extraordinary in the before and after photograph. Clean, level, low maintenance, finished. Clients see it and want it immediately. In current garden planning, experienced designers are increasingly cautious about full coverage hard paving, and for reasons that go beyond aesthetics. Paved surfaces expand in heat and contract in cold. Without adequate control, joints cut at the right spacing, the movement cracks the surface. Not might crack, will crack, usually within 5 to 8 years. Sometimes sooner. Pavers shift as the soil below settles unevenly. The polymeric sand that fills the joints washes out after the first heavy storm. What cost $20,000 to install costs $6 to $12 per square foot to lift and relay. And on a 500 square foot patio, that repair bill alone runs several $1,000s. Then there is the thermal problem designers are now factoring into every project. Dark paving absorbs heat all day and radiates it through the evening, turning the surrounding garden into a heat sink. The temperature against the house wall climbs. The cooling load inside the house increases. Rainwater with nowhere to drain runs toward the foundation, seeps into the basement, and damages everything it reaches. Bravado design experts identify hardscape placement errors as the single most expensive backyard mistake homeowners make. This is why designers are moving away from wall-to-wall paving toward designs that combine defined paved zones with planted areas, permeable surfaces, and drainage designed in from the start, not addressed after the problem appears. The next feature is one that almost every client asks for, and the designers in the field have started answering very differently than they did 5 years ago. Number 9. The permanent built-in fire pit. The brief is always the same. Stone surround, built-in bench seating, the whole feature positioned as the anchor point of the outdoor entertaining space. $7,000 of carefully engineered weekend atmosphere. Clients picture cozy evenings, conversation, marshmallows. Designers picture the same thing. It is an attractive concept and it photographs beautifully. The problem is what happens after the first year. Fire pits get used significantly less than clients expect. In Texas, Florida, and Arizona, the weather conditions that make an open fire enjoyable exist for around 4 months of the year. For the other 8 months, the feature sits collecting leaves, rainwater, and wildlife. The WeSee project tracked 900 homeowners and found built-in fire pits top the list of features used once per season or less. Smoke direction is driven by wind, and wind does not follow a dining arrangement, so guests spend the evening rotating around the pit, trying to avoid it. Half the country now has open burning restrictions during fire season that eliminate spring and summer use entirely. Maintenance compounds the problem. Rain fills the pit, freezes in winter, and cracks the stone. Ash management is ongoing. Local HOAs continue tightening rules around open fire features, with some now requiring a switch to gas at additional cost. Many designers now steer clients toward gas fire bowls on low stone plinths or fire table inserts in seating walls. Features that can be lit in any weather, require no ash management, and fit within HOA rules. A portable propane pit costs $200. The built-in version costs 35 times more and gets less use every year. That is the conversation designers are increasingly having before anything gets built. Still, the next feature wastes even more money in a single season. Number 8. The full outdoor tiki bar. During the lockdown years, the outdoor bar became the backyard aspiration everyone wanted. Stone counter, built-in stools, drink fridge, draft tap system. $8,000 to $40,000 to bring the resort feeling home. Designers who specified these setups have spent the years since learning what actually happens next. Outdoor electronics were not built for what a backyard actually puts them through. Humidity, heat swings, rodents chewing through wiring. A fridge rated for indoor use fails in its first real Texas summer. Draft lines grow mold the week a sanitizing flush gets skipped. Granite counters stain permanently from red wine and bird droppings, and weather sealing needs replacing every single year without fail. Then there is the behavioral reality that no mood board ever shows. The average household entertains outside 6 to 8 times a year. A $10,000 outdoor bar, used 8 times a year, works out to over $300 per occasion before food or drinks are on the table. The WIC project found over 60% of homeowners remove the bar before listing the property. Real estate agents report it adds almost no resale value because buyers see it as a demolition job, not a feature. Professionals increasingly recommend modular outdoor kitchen setups instead. Freestanding, weather-rated, repositionable. The entertaining space stays. The permanent concrete and tile commitment does not follow you if your needs change. The next feature sounds like a sanctuary. The reality takes rather more commitment than most clients expect. Number 7. The elaborate koi pond or waterfall feature. A well-designed water garden is genuinely one of the most beautiful things a designer can specify. Still water, natural planting, the sound of movement. Done well, it changes a garden completely. A koi pond with full filtration and a live fish population is a different conversation entirely, and it is one that many designers are now having very carefully before anything gets agreed. The entry cost runs $10,000 to $25,000 for anything that looks and functions properly. That is just where it starts. Pumps fail every 3 to 5 years at $800 each. UV sterilizers need annual replacement. Algae blooms need chemical treatment every 2 weeks through summer. Without skipping, quality koi run $100 to $500 per fish, and they are vulnerable to herons, raccoons, cold snaps, heat events, and power cuts. One heron on a still morning can clear the pond before anyone notices. In Florida and along the Gulf Coast, hurricane season regularly overwhelms filtration systems in hours. Positive Bloom's garden survey found that filling in a failed water feature costs $1,500 to $5,000 depending on size. So the full picture is installation cost, then ongoing maintenance cost, then eventually a removal cost. Because most clients reach a point where the commitment outpaces the enjoyment. Real estate data shows large water features add no measurable resale value. Buyers treat them as a liability, not a selling point. This is why designers are moving towards simpler self-contained features. Wall spouts, millstone fountains, bubbling urns. The sound and atmosphere are the same. The filtration system, the fish, and the weekly chemical schedule are not. The next choice has been sold as a smart answer for difficult conditions, and designers are increasingly having second thoughts about it. Number 6. The full gravel or rock garden. Gravel was pitched to clients in drought zones as the intelligent, sustainable alternative to a lawn. No mowing, no irrigation, low maintenance forever. Clients paid $10 per square foot for granite chips, river rock, or pea gravel, cleared the grass, and waited for the effortless garden to emerge. The research published in 2025 by University of Florida researcher Marco Schiavon has changed how designers approach this material. Rock-heavy garriscape yards run up to 54 degrees Fahrenheit, hotter than a living grass lawn. On a 100-degree day, the surface temperature in a full gravel yard approaches 154 degrees. That heat radiates against the house through the afternoon, increasing the cooling load inside. Air conditioning units work harder. Power bills jump by $300 to $400 every month of summer. Weeds find a way through regardless of the membrane beneath. Wind deposits seeds into the gaps between stones. In the heat of a gravel yard, pulling those weeds is miserable work. Organic debris accumulates over years, turning the surface into a weed-growing medium over time. Removing and disposing of the rock later costs $3 to $5 per square foot on top of the disposal fees, so the economical solution becomes an expensive reversal when the client wants their garden back. In current garden planning, designers are specifying gravel as a considered accent material rather than a full coverage solution, combined with appropriate planting, defined drainage, and solid edging that prevents migration. The material is not the problem. The full coverage application is. The next feature looks timeless from the outside and has become considerably more complicated in practice. Number 5. The traditional box hedge border. For 400 years, box hedging defined the formal garden: crisp, dense, evergreen, architectural. Clients still ask for it constantly, and designers understand why. Nothing else delivers that clean structural line in quite the same way. But what designers know now that clients often do not is that box in 2026 carries a risk profile that did not exist a decade ago. Box blight, a fungal disease that turns leaves brown and strips full sections bare within weeks, has now spread to every major gardening region in the US and UK, according to the Royal Horticultural Society. Close behind it is the box tree caterpillar, a pest capable of consuming a mature hedge in days. You can go to bed with a healthy hedge and wake up to white webbing and bare stems. Treating the caterpillar costs $150 per application, with up to 6 treatments required per season. Once blight takes hold seriously, removal and complete replanting is the only real solution. Replacing a 30-foot box hedge with disease-resistant alternatives like Japanese holly runs $3,000 to $6,000. Many designers now specify Ilex crenata, Pittosporum, or hornbeam as alternatives that deliver a comparable visual result without the disease vulnerability. The formal garden aesthetic remains achievable. The box plant specifically carries a level of risk that most professionals no longer feel comfortable recommending as a primary structural hedge. The next feature sounds like privacy. It often creates something rather harder to deal with. Number 4. Fast-growing invasive privacy screens. When clients want privacy, they want it now. Bamboo, English ivy, fast-growing willows. The appeal is clear. Cheap plants, fast coverage, problem solved. Designers who have been asked to specify these plants and who have watched what happens next are increasingly steering the conversation elsewhere. Running bamboo does not stay where it is planted. It spreads through underground rhizomes that move sideways under fences, driveways, and property lines without any visible indication of what is happening. Within 5 years, it surfaces in neighboring lawns, pool decks, and garden beds. New York real estate attorney Paula A. Miller reports that courts routinely order bamboo removal at the original planter's full expense. Total removal from one yard costs $8,000 to $20,000 because the rhizomes have to be excavated to a depth of 3 feet. Homeowners in New Jersey and California have been held liable for removal across multiple adjacent properties simultaneously. English ivy attaches to walls and infiltrates siding, rotting the timber underneath its mat over time. Willow roots seek water aggressively and crack sewer pipes from 30 feet away. Several U.S. states and all of Australia have restricted or banned commercial bamboo sales in response to the legal consequences. This is why designers are moving toward clumping bamboo varieties that do not spread, or toward tensioned cable systems with well-behaved climbing plants that deliver green coverage without the root risk. The privacy outcome is the same. The legal and maintenance consequence is entirely different. The next choice is one where the failure is almost entirely predictable and entirely avoidable with better plant selection from the start. Number 3. Plants chosen for the photograph rather than the climate. Garden magazines and social media consistently show the same aspirational planting palette: lush azaleas, fat hostas, pink hydrangeas, fragrant peonies, English roses climbing a sun-warmed wall. And homeowners in Florida, Texas, Arizona, and Southern California keep trying to recreate that picture, spending $200 to $1,000 per plant, season after season, watching it fail. This is one of the most consistent conversations designers have with new clients. Azaleas, hostas, and peonies are built for cool, shaded, northern forest conditions. Planted in the southern U.S., the sun shuts down their photosynthesis. Leaves yellow, buds drop before they open, roots rot in humid summer soil. Positive Bloom's garden survey found these plants typically die within 6 months in Florida heat, regardless of watering and feeding. English roses in warm climates require fungicide, pesticide, and intensive pruning that adds $400 per year just to keep them alive. Hydrangeas need soil acidity that most southern regions do not provide naturally, which means ongoing chemical amendment that rarely produces the result shown in the reference photograph. Professionals increasingly start the plant selection conversation with climate first and inspiration photographs second. The planting palette for a Texas garden should come from the ecology of Texas or from climates that genuinely share its conditions. The result is a garden that performs reliably, costs less to maintain, and looks like it belongs where it is rather than like a struggling copy of somewhere else. The next feature looks simple and manageable. The failure is usually invisible until it is very expensive. Number 2. The DIY or budget irrigation system. Irrigation design is one of the areas where the gap between amateur and professional installation has the most costly consequences. It looks manageable from the outside. Tubes, heads, a timer, and the upfront cost of a DIY kit seems like a reasonable trade-off against professional specification. Designers and irrigation engineers see the results of that trade-off regularly. Dead zones form in the first season as coverage gaps emerge between zones. Some plants receive too much water, while adjacent plants receive none. Heads break within months. Valves develop underground leaks that are invisible at the surface. Budget plastic controllers fail in the first significant electrical storm. Bloom's research on Florida gardeners found that drainage and irrigation repair runs between $4,000 and $12,000 when a system genuinely fails, and plant replacement on top of that adds $2,000 to $6,000 more. The water bill consequence is the one that consistently surprises homeowners most. A single faulty underground valve can release 20,000 extra gallons per month without any visible sign at ground level. An Arizona couple received a $700 monthly water bill before a leak 3 feet underground was located and addressed. Sprinkler heads directed at house siding cause wood rot and mold damage that home insurance increasingly declines to cover. This is why irrigation is one of the areas where designers consistently recommend professional specification and installation, not because the client cannot manage the project, but because the cost of getting it wrong is so consistently higher than the cost of getting it right from the start. The last feature on this list is the one that has arguably generated the most professional discussion in garden design in the past 3 years. Number 1. Artificial grass as a full lawn replacement. The pitch for artificial turf was straightforward and compelling. No mowing, no watering, permanently green. Install it once and stop thinking about the lawn entirely. Many designers specified it. Many clients requested it. And the research that has emerged over the past 3 years has significantly changed how the profession approaches the conversation. Researchers at Brigham Young University measured synthetic turf surface temperatures hitting 200 degrees Fahrenheit on a 98-degree day. Penn State's Center for Sports Surface Research found artificial turf runs 35 to 55 degrees hotter than natural grass consistently through summer. Those surface temperatures cause real harm. Dogs burn their paw pads crossing it, and children sustain burns from falling on it during ordinary play. The Guardian reports artificial turf lowers property value by up to 5% in residential markets, meaning a $10,000 installation can represent a $20,000 loss at the point of sale. The turf traps pet waste and bacteria deep in the fibers, creating odor that no cleaning product reliably eliminates. The NFL Players Association published data in 2023 confirming higher rates of lower body injury on synthetic surfaces than on natural grass. Removal costs $3 to $6 per square foot because landfills now apply surcharges to synthetic turf waste. U.S. market sales dropped by 2/3 between 2021 and 2023 as the full picture emerged. This is why many designers are now redirecting conversations toward clover mixes, no-mow grass seed blends, and hybrid turf systems that maintain some living plant matter. Alternatives that deliver reduced maintenance without the heat, the odor, the injury risk, and the property value consequence. The dream was a lawn that looked after itself. What artificial turf actually delivered in heat, in smell, in property impact is something the design profession is now much more honest about in the initial client conversation. So there you have it, 12 backyard traps that turn dreams into debt. Skip these features, protect your wallet, and build the real garden you have always wanted this year. Which of these surprised you most? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. I will see you in the next one.